Victorious told us to make it shine, but nobody told us the relationships wouldn't age the same way we did. Hey there, Star Riders. Welcome back to Diary of the Cosmos, where I spill my tea in the corner of the galaxy, share my stories, and sometimes we learn something along the way. Today's page in our diary takes us back to one of our favorite but undeniably weird childhood shows, Victorious. Feeling a little messy today because I want to talk about Victorious couples that should have happened, especially why Tori and Beck made sense and why Andre and Jade had way more chemistry than people want to admit. So grab your tea, your nostalgia, and maybe your unpopular opinions, because today we're cracking open the diary. Before I get into my wishful thinking about relationships that should have happened on Victorious, we have to talk about the one couple the show actually committed to, Jade and Beck. Now, looking at them with adult eyes, we can all agree they were toxic. As kids, that breakup probably shattered your world. And for some of us, me included, there was that brief moment of hope when Beck was single that we have a chance with him, only for him to go on a date, turn out not date with Tori, and then immediately get back with Jade like a few episodes later. But you can tell Jade and Beck had been together for a while. Everyone in Hollywood Arts knew they were a couple, and Jade was clearly known for crashing out on any girl who even looked at Beck sideways.
If you're a girl, stay away from Beck.
My personal headcanon, they probably started dating in 8th or ninth grade.
Dating for 2 years?
Longer.
Huh?
It's been longer than 2 years, but it doesn't matter. Just keep
I thought we
going.
officially started dating.
It doesn't matter.
Another quick headcanon, I always saw the Victorious gang as sophomores or juniors from the first episode through the finale. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments politely. Now, were Beck and Jade cute together? Yes, sure. The laid back pretty boy and the gothic mean girl, opposites attract, right? But Beck has that calm, unbothered personality, almost like nothing phases him, except when his friends are being mistreated. And honestly, that makes him precisely the kind of guy a lot of people will want in high school. But there's an issue. Beck doesn't know how to say no. And I'm not saying Beck would cheat on Jade. What I'm saying is that he lets girls get away with crossing boundaries for way too long. He doesn't shut things down early, and by the time someone else steps in, the damage is already done. The perfect example is the karaoke scene with Jade, Kat, Audrey, and Beck. When the owner's daughter started hitting on Beck, the first thing he does is shutting her down is look around for Jade, because Jade is usually the one who handles those situations. Beck never takes control of it himself. And honestly, if Kat hadn't said, "Oh, he has a girlfriend," that situation would have gone even further. But go back and watch the clip, it says a lot.
First time here? I get nervous when my brother eats things that aren't food. Hi. Miss? What? He has a girlfriend.
I will give Beck a little credit though. When Robbie was fixing his car and girls started flirting with him, Beck at least tried to redirect their attention towards Robbie, even if it didn't work.
I was kind of having fun with this whole car fixing thing. Because of all the girls who came by to watch.
You want me to go find you some cheerleaders and need a ride?
Okay. Will the cheerleaders be wearing their uniforms?
That's what makes them cheerleaders.
Now, as much as I joke about the Beck Ain't Shit campaign for a brief moment, we also have to talk about Jay's flaws because fairness matters. Jay doesn't know how to express her feelings without lashing out, and that behavior makes more sense when you remember what she said about her father, that he hates everything she is and stands for.
He hates everything I stand for. He just wants to hang out with his new wife and her yappy little dog. And he's never kept one promise.
And
He hates me.
but why would anyone hate you? He doesn't understand creative people. He thinks that wanting to be an actor or writer or director is stupid. So I invited him to my play because I thought it was going to be really good and hopefully make him finally have some respect for me.
Clearly shape how she handles conflict. A prominent example is the prom record episode. Jade could have calmly explained to Tori that she worked hard on her play and asked her to move the prom to a different date. Instead, she spent the entire episode sabotaging Tori and the prom altogether. That said, I'll give Jade some grace too. There are moments in the series where she tries to express herself without exploding, even if I can't remember every episode off the top of my head. But Beck does support Jade, but he's also emotionally neglectful when it comes to reassuring her jealousy. Take the cheerleader puppy situation. Beck could have avoided that entire meltdown by simply saying, "Hey, this is an elementary school girl I'm babysitting a puppy for." Instead, he stayed vague. Jade spiraled and she ended up looking foolish when she realized it was literally an 8-year-old girl.
Jade, this is my next door neighbor, Allie. Allie, this is my girlfriend, Jade.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Allie.
By the end of Victorious, Beck and Jade ended up back together, and honestly, I think they like their toxic dynamic. Beck gets a thrill from Jade's jealousy, and Jade feeds off Beck's vagueness. If they like it, I love it for them. But that's precisely why I want to talk about the could have been relationships, the ones that made way more sense while Victorious was still airing on Nick. So let's talk about our first one. I want to start with Andre and Jade because this is the pairing that quietly makes the most sense once you really look at their dynamic. When it comes to Andre, my default ship has always been Tori and Andre. We see them together constantly. They have multiple duets. Their stage chemistry is undeniable, and people always say the best relationship starts as friends, which they already were. But then I rewatched the episode where Andre was writing his song 365 Days and remembered that he originally wrote Jade's name in the lyrics, only changing it to Baby because she was with Beck at the time.
I couldn't sleep, so I stayed up till dawn writing a song about Jade.
You wrote her a song? That's so sweet.
It's evil!
And that made me pause because when you really look at Jade's interaction within the friend group, there's a pattern. Jade lashes out at almost everyone except Andre. Outside of Beck, he's the only person she has nothing negative to say about. There's even an episode where Jade goes down the line criticizing everyone in the friend group and skips Andre completely, like he's untouchable in her eyes. That's when it clicked for me that Andre and Jade would actually make sense. Andre is patient, emotionally intelligent, and grounded, which we see constantly, especially in how he cares for his grandmother. Jade is someone who would genuinely respect that. I can easily imagine Jade enjoying spending time with Andre's grandma, finding her fascinating, and even drawing inspiration from her for her horror films and creative projects. But what really sells this pairing for me is mutual respect. Jade doesn't mock Andre's talent, dismiss his creativity, or take advantage of his generosity. Andre, in return, doesn't try to soften Jade into someone she's not. He understands her edge, respects her darkness, and doesn't treat her like a problem that needs fixing. Andre also brings emotional safety into Jade's life, something she clearly struggles with. He's calm, consistent, and present, not passive but steady. That kind of presence would allow Jade to express her feelings without immediately going on the defense. At the same time, Jade will actually be good for Andre. Andre is a caretaker by nature. He gives a lot, emotionally and creatively. And Jade is not someone who drains that energy. She's independent, self directed, and doesn't rely on Andre to manage her emotions. Instead, she pushes him to stop overgiving and to take his own ambitions seriously. Creatively, they'll thrive together. Andre creates from joy and passion. Jade creates from intensity and pain. Being around Andre wouldn't dull Jade's edge, it would give her new emotional textures to pull from. His music will influence her writing, directing, and storytelling, while Jade's darker perspective would challenge Andre artistically in ways he isn't used to. They wouldn't just support each other, they collaborate. And unlike Beck, Andre knows how to set boundaries. We've seen him shut down girls he's not interested in and push back when someone makes unreasonable demands. Jade wouldn't have to fight battles for him because Andre already knows how to handle himself. Most importantly, Andre doesn't trigger Jade's insecurities. She doesn't need to be hypervigilant or territorial around him. There's no constant power struggle, no jealousy loop, no emotional games. With Andre, Jade wouldn't need to armor up. She could just be. Let's get into Tori and Beck. As I mentioned earlier in this diary entry, Beck is a laid back kind of guy. He's calm, reserved, and avoid conflicts whenever possible. And because of that, I think Beck needs someone who can be firm without being explosive, someone who can address their feelings clearly without yelling or turning every disagreement into a battle. I have a personal headcanon that Beck doesn't respond well to yelling, and while the show never explicitly confirms this, his behavior strongly suggests it. Beck is almost unnaturally calm, even in somewhat tense situations. He rarely raises his voice, and when conflict happens around him, he tends to withdraw rather than engage emotionally. I also think this explains why Beck eventually moves out and lives in an RV parked in his parents' driveway. In my mind, Beck grew up in a household where arguments over small things such as chores, expectations, and control were constant. And after a while, he learned that yelling didn't fix anything. So instead of escalating, he chose silence. That calm isn't confidence, it's avoidance. And that's where Tori becomes essential. Tori doesn't communicate through intimidation or emotional pressure. When she's upset, she talks. She asks questions, expresses disappointment, and tries to work things out. She's emotionally expressive without being aggressive, which makes her someone Beck wouldn't instinctively shut down around. Tori also doesn't demand emotional labor from Beck, she invites it. We see early on that Beck feels comfortable with her presence. In the very first episode of Victorious, Tori tells Beck to kiss her, and he does. No hesitation, no awkward pause. He could have declined, especially knowing Jade was standing right there, but he didn't. That moment matters.
Jumping jacks?
Kiss me.
A little weird. Let's do it.
It tells us that Beck didn't feel pressured. He didn't feel cornered. He chose to respond. And the fact that he kissed Tori in front of Jade, knowing full well it would cause conflict, shows that this wasn't passivity. Beck made an active decision. Tori wasn't just convenient, she was compelling. Beyond that initial moment, Beck constantly shows up for Tori in ways that feel intentional. There's a time he spends an entire day helping her prepare for a role, and if I'm remembering correctly, this happens more than once. Beck gives her his time, patience, and attention without appearing annoyed or detached. He doesn't talk down to her or treat her like she's inexperienced. Instead, he reassures her, encourages her, and helps her build confidence. And then there's the stunt episode. When Tori is scared, Buck doesn't mock her or dismiss her fear. He steps in. He dresses up and performs the stunt for her so she doesn't have to. And that's not something he had to do. It's something he chose to do because he cared for her comfort and safety.
You.
Wait, but how did you? Where did you get that dress?
Cat made it.
I don't want to do the stunt. I'm scared.
It's okay. I got this.
Wait, what are you?
Shh. Wait here. And cut! Perfect! Thanks, everyone. Be right back.
What stands out to me about Tori and Beck is how easy they are together, especially in the episode they go on a date that isn't a date. They seem to have a good time together despite the inconvenience.
If this was a regular date, we'd be going to some nice restaurant.
But not us.
Nope. We are going to eat bad seafood.
From a truck. Actually, that truck doesn't look so bad.
Wait for it.
Oh.
There's no power struggle, no constant jealousy loop, no emotional guessing games. Tori doesn't try to control Beck, and Beck doesn't emotionally disappear around her. She challenges him just enough to stay present, and he supports her without overshadowing her. Tori also doesn't project insecurity onto Beck. She trusts him, and because of that, Beck doesn't have to reassure, defend himself, or walk on eggshells constantly. He gets to exist without feeling like every interaction is being monitored or questioned. And that kind of trust matters for someone like Beck who already struggles with confrontation. What I also appreciate about this pairing is that Tori encourages growth rather than stagnation. Tori pushes people, including Beck, to show up, to try, and to care. She doesn't let things slide just because it's easier, but she also doesn't punish vulnerability. That balance will allow Beck to unlearn his habit of emotional withdrawal without feeling attacked for it. With Tori, Beck wouldn't need to shut down to keep the peace. He could stay calm and emotionally engaged. And that's ultimately why I think Tori and Beck make sense. Not because they're dramatic, iconic, or chaotic, but because they're compatible. They offer each other emotional safety, mutual respect, and the space to grow without fear. For someone like Beck, someone who avoids chaos, avoids yelling, and avoids emotional whiplash, that kind of relationship wouldn't just be romantic, it would be peaceful. After looking at Beck and Jade, Andre and Jade, and Tori and Beck, I don't think the real takeaway is about which ship is right or wrong. It's about what each relationship reveals about the characters. Beck and Jade are passion and chaos. They thrive on intensity, jealousy, and emotional vitality. There's love there, but it's loud, reactive, and cyclical. They don't grow out of their toxicity. They they grow comfortable in it. Andre and Jade are balanced and respect each other. Andre brings emotional safety, patience, and creative grounding into Jade's world. And Jade brings intensity, honesty, and artistic depth into Andre's. They don't overpower each other, they expand each other. And Tori and Beck are calm and compatible. They offer each other peace, trust, and emotional breathing room. Tori communicates without intimidating, and Beck responds without shutting down. There's no power struggle, just mutual presence. What makes Victorious interesting is that none of these dynamics are unrealistic. They represent different kinds of teenage relationships. The ones that feels exciting but exhausting, the one that challenges you to grow, and the one that feels safe and steady. And depending on where you are in life, each one can feel like the right answer. As kids, chaos feels romantic. As adults, compatibility becomes more critical. And that's today's page in Diary of the Cosmos. Revisiting Victorious as an adult really reminded me that the shows we loved growing up didn't change. We did. Our perspectives matured, our emotional awareness deepened, and suddenly the couples we rooted for don't hit the same way anymore. And that doesn't mean we were wrong back then, it just means we've grown. Maybe you still love Beck and Jade because the chaos feels familiar. Maybe Andre and Jade makes more sense to you now because balance matter. Or maybe Tori and Beck feel right because peace is underrated. Whatever your answer is, it probably says more about where you are in life than which ship you prefer. So I want to know, which victorious couple makes the most sense to you now and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments, be respectful, and as always, thank you for spending another moment with me in the corner of the galaxy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the chapter for more out of this world ideas. Till the next entry, keep your pen to the stars and your heart in the pages. This has been Daria of the Cosmos. Sincerely yours.